Good morning. Welcome to Monday in Manhattan. I'm Jason Hilgers, Deputy City Manager. I'm here with Jesse Romo, our Airport Director. We are in a series of sales tax discussions in our Facebook Live episodes here, and we're talking about the Manhattan Airport runway. This is a major infrastructure project that the community and the airport will undertake. It looks like over the next 5 years possibly. But we're going to let Jesse talk to us a little bit about the shape and condition of our existing runway, how important it is to air service locally, and where we're headed with our replacement.
Well, thanks, Jason. Actually, first let's start with our air service, because that's a good thing. Last month, we just heard the jet land, but last month we were up 15% over last year. So far year to date, we're 8% over last year. Last year was a record year with nearly 71,000 people flying out. And so we expect to have another record year. So it's just amazing to see the continued growth in people using the Manhattan Regional Airport, and we can't thank you enough for that. But yeah, as you said, we got a big challenge ahead of us in a runway reconstruct project. And I don't know how familiar everybody is with the airport, but we have two runways. The primary runway is 321, is 7,000 by 150 feet. We have a crosswind that's much shorter and smaller. It's 5,000 by 75, and it doesn't have as much weight capacity on it. The larger runway is the one that is commercially rated by the FAA for airline travel, and that is the one that is in need of some repair. And it's just a matter of time. You get a really good useful life out of concrete, and as long as you have a good preventative maintenance program, you're looking at a beyond 40-year useful life. And I think we're about 50 years since the last major reconstruct project on that pavement. So we're due. And right now we're in the middle of a planning study, and that's been going on for about the past year. And it seems like a long time, but there are so many variables at play that we have to analyze and look at. Looking at the fleet mix of yesteryear and compared to today, and then trying to forecast out for the needs of the next 20 years. Working with the FAA and a lot of different stakeholders to try and see what exactly we're going to need in the future. And right now, we're anticipating finishing that project by the end of the calendar year, a little bit maybe early next year, and then hopefully sometime soon after that, we'll start design, and then it goes into construction in probably calendar years 22, 23, 24, depending on how phasing goes. And when you only have 7,400 feet to work with, and the airline needs about 5,500, and then you have to have safety of about 1,000 feet buffers, doesn't leave you a lot of room in staging and phasing construction. So at some point, we're going to have disruption in air service. That's just a reality of the project. We're doing all that we can to find a way to mitigate that, maybe some overnight, some construction during the weekends, to maybe just have limited schedules and not have a complete shutdown. But at some point with the intersecting runway design, you get to that middle section and you're going to have to shut down the airport. So hopefully it's not that long. I don't have an answer as to what it's going to look like.
Sure.
That's why we're going through these efforts now, and it's going to be over the next couple of years. We'll continue to talk to everybody about it and keep everyone updated, but that is something that's looming for us in the near future.
And as we've seen across the community, aging infrastructure becomes a point of interest and a point of investment that we have to make within the community. This will obviously set the airport in a position for, as Jesse mentioned, the next 20, 30 years. But we are talking about a runway replacement that is going to be around the $50 million mark. Traditionally, we've leveraged some 90-10 splits with the federal government, which would still put $5 million locally invested within this improvement. That may vary. We'll obviously have to work with the FAA over some time as we near construction, just to see what option we're going to pursue, how much the FAA will be willing to invest, and then how much locally. But the sales tax question that we have on the ballot for November is a source that we've identified to help pay for this improvement.
Yeah, and you're right, it's going to vary, and we just don't know what that bogey is quite yet, but it depends on what type of reconstruct that we do, a full depth and overlay of some sort. as well as dimensions. I mean, there's so many things, factors at play, and then when it actually gets out to construction, how it impacts the taxi lane connectors, whether or not we get to do some taxiway work as well, because the taxiways also need a lot of repair. So right now, when we're looking at all that adjacent pavement, including the taxiway, it's about a $55 million hit, but that is a really high level, early estimation of that cost. And it could come if, you know, the FAA typically will give you a 90% grant because that's what we're eligible for, and so it's about a $5.5 million share to the city. So,
and we obviously see this as an essential piece of infrastructure for the airport's operation. That's why we included it in the sales tax initiative. It'll be one of those pieces of infrastructure that the community will have to fund at some point and at some level. And it's, you know, a matter of relying on resources like property taxes in the future, or trying to identify this sales tax increase to find that funding. Additionally, we'll have some airport parking lot improvements taking place soon, and we'll put the infrastructure in place to start charging for that infrastructure and eventually helping us pay that debt service over the long term. But any updates on the parking lot, Jesse?
No, we did get that passed by City Commission, and we're about to issue a notice to proceed in the next 2 days, and we'll get that put out. But it's about a 12-month project, so we know construction mainly is going to occur next year because we're heading right now into winter time. Yeah. So, you know, Christmas travel season will hit us and hit us hard like it normally does. And so people are going to get very creative in parking, and we hope that you're considering safety when you're getting that creative. But we also understand that you need a place to park when you're coming out and flying. So we'll do our best to help accommodate everyone. But yeah, that's something that's coming in the next 12 months. And then over that time too, we'll talk about a parking management plan where we'll have the revenue scenarios and what we'll charge and when that gets fully implemented.
We have a beautiful terminal here at the airport. Obviously continue to make improvements. And just as Jesse mentioned, we keep growing more and more employments. It's an investment that is having an economic return to the community, our business community, the university. We want to continue to make that a great place for regional travel. So with that, Jesse, you got some final comments?
Yeah, you know, the last thing I'm going to do is plug our 10-year campaign. And so a couple months back, we celebrated 10 years of American Airlines coming to Manhattan with the regional jet service to Dallas. And now we've got 3 flights a day to Dallas, 3 to Chicago, and actually this winter, we're going to end up one day, we have, I think, 9 flights going out. And so the airline continues to do really good in adjusting up the size of the aircraft, as well as the frequency of flying to those great destinations that'll get you anywhere. And with that, we partnered with the CVB and are doing 10 months of giveaways. So last month, October 1, we gave out the Chicago getaway, and you should check it out on our Facebook page at Fly MHK. And coming November 1, there's a staycation package that's great. I mean, the CVB is doing a wonderful job in putting those things together, and they'll be doing that drawing on November 1. So we look forward to that. As you come to the airport, Fly MHK, look at the table, put in the little entry form. And also, lastly, Bandit Coffee and Cafe is in the terminal. We've had so many requests for some sort of food service and coffee, especially for those early morning departures. So Bandit Coffee and Cafe is doing a great job out there. We're getting a lot of positive feedback, and I know they've got some new creative food options that they try to bring and provide themselves. So it's a great time to be at Manhattan Regional Airport. So flymhk.com, book your travel today.
Great, thanks, Jesse. Again, October 16th, advanced voting. November 5th is the election day. On the ballot, a 0.3% sales tax increase, so it raises from $895 to $925. Generate just over $3 million a year, and Manhattan Regional Airport runway expansion is one of the projects identified. We'll be back next week with another sales tax initiative. Until then, have a great day, and thank you.
Thank you.